Hello, facilitators. My name is Malia Josephine, and I have been a professional facilitator for 7 years. In this video, I want to share my journey around how I became a professional facilitator. So I specialize in wicked problem facilitation, and what that really means is that I create collaborative spaces and processes that support multi-stakeholder groups coming together to address complex issues. So that's what I have come to as my specialization of facilitation. I did not always know that I was going to reach this part, like specialize in this form of facilitation. I didn't even know that I was going to become a facilitator, and many people don't because facilitation is not a very well-known profession. So I just want to share how I found out about it and how it became clear to me over the years that facilitation was really right now my calling and my purpose and something to really hone and craft as my primary offering within my career. So this is my story. Hope you enjoy. So my story begins in college. In college, I pursued a sociology degree and was really interested in social systems, systems thinking, human behavior, just really these complex kind of liberal arts and social sciences. And while I was in my college, I found out about a program with the organization called the Center for Public Deliberation. And the Center for Public Deliberation, the CPD, is one of the nation's kind of like leading organizations that's doing work around this idea of wicked problems. And they had a deliberative facilitation training program. So through just universe magic, I found out about this program and I just felt this strong sense that I needed to apply for it. I got into the program, and over the course of 5 months, my life completely changed. My mindset and philosophy completely changed. And what I was taught in that 5-month program was both theoretical, kind of like just training material and values and principles around facilitation and wicked problems, which includes the ideas that there's these reasons why our society is so polarized. There are reasons why it's so hard for people who have different perspectives to come together to build mutual understanding and to be able to actually think together and form solutions and approaches towards addressing these huge social, environmental, economic, and political problems that our society deals with. So that program taught me about those psychological biases, those kind of common human behavior that keeps us in these dysfunctional patterns, and how as a facilitator that's an impartial, neutral, process-oriented expert within a meeting, within an event, can come in and really support that group with having more functioning communication, more functioning group dynamics, and able to really get to a place where they can hear each other and decide, make collective decisions. So this was really like life-changing for me. Now, at that point, I did not know that facilitation was going to be my profession. I actually was really drawn to working within city government. I really wanted to change the system from within. I was well versed and knew a lot about the oppressive systems and the just the status quo of our society that keeps people in poverty and that keeps these really, just the issues that our society deals with: homelessness, mental health, poverty, like the climate crisis, like all of these issues. I really felt like if I worked in city government, I could make a big impact with ensuring that we were moving towards a better society. So I actually pursued a master's in urban planning and really was trying to specialize within community engagement. So in my undergraduate degree, I got that training within facilitation, and at the same time started working within community engagement for my local city government and continued to have positions within city government where I got the chance to see how bureaucracy works, right? And what it's like to work within, a local government environment. So I got into a master's degree, the Master of Urban Planning degree, and community engagement, community development, equity, environmental planning, like all of the kind of really the interesting things that that inspired me. I got training in and I took classes in, and I continued to pursue this profession of trying to find government and nonprofit, mainly in the public sector, positions where I got to be a liaison, essentially between stakeholders, including the public, like residents, service providers, nonprofits, the business sector, the private sector, and the city government and the nonprofit, whoever I was working for. I wanted to be in positions where I was facilitating collaborative spaces that brought together an inclusive group of people to talk about a project, a plan, an opportunity, a problem, whatever it was. And what that actually looked like for me was I kept applying to different positions that had different names, like community engagement, project manager, project coordination, project assistant. Like a lot of the jobs that I applied to throughout my career did not say facilitator, and they didn't even say facilitation in the actual job description. However, because of my training with the Center for Public Deliberation, I knew that I was doing facilitation. I knew, I'm crafting an agenda, and it's going to be bringing together my nonprofit organization and this private sector stakeholder, and they're going to be talking about private-public partnership. I'm going to be facilitating a meeting that helps them develop a partnership and develop an MOU, a memorandum of understanding contract. And so that was facilitation, right? That was a form of facilitation, and I knew that. And there was many different positions where that happened for me. So basically, I got my master's in urban planning, and then I continued to work in city government. I had city government positions for about 5 years. I really went down that path to try and see if it was going to make sense for me to basically be a public servant and to work my way up the ladder within city government. And what I found was that the bureaucratic culture of city government was very, this is very, cliche, but true. It's very slow. It's not as, what's the opposite of innovative? It's kind of stagnant and traditional. There's a lot of people who've worked within city government who've worked there for like decades and decades. I was usually the youngest person who was working in some of these offices. And there just wasn't a lot of room for quick growth. I mean, you really got to put a lot of sweat and, just like a lot of that kind of entry-level work for many, many years to work your way up. And I just felt like, after doing it for so many years, I realized that the life that I wanted to live, which was a life where I was working for an innovative, creative, and forward-thinking organization, that culture was not going to exist within city government. So I decided here's the kind of coming back to facilitation thing, switch my focus towards working for private sector consulting firms. And a lot of my peers who had done the urban planning degree with me were also working for consulting firms and going into public participation, community engagement consulting firms where they were, facilitating these public forums and these places where the community, the neighborhood, was involved within the development of their own city. That's really what I specialized in, and a lot of my peers specialized in. And so I found an amazing job with a strategic planning and group facilitation consulting firm that worked with city governments on strategic plans and different facilitation of different processes and projects for them. So that was really exciting because I knew that at that point I was like, I'm really loving this facilitation thing and I want to just keep focusing on that. And when I found a consulting firm that literally one of its core services was facilitation, it was like this light bulb for me around, this is a profession that I can continue to focus on. I have all of this background. I have a sociology degree. I have this master's of urban planning degree. I have all this public sector experience where I've been doing collaboration efforts. So, but what that really sets me up for is like I have a skill set that's already set up to be a great facilitator. So I worked for this private sector consulting firm, and then the pandemic hit. So when the pandemic hit, I lost my job with this consulting firm and I decided to do freelance facilitation. This was very exciting, very challenging, and I'm going to make a whole nother video about the pros and cons of freelance facilitation. But in this video, I'll just share that I did that for 2 years. And this is really where it became clear to me that I am here to do facilitation and to define what my facilitation services are, help companies see the value of facilitation, and really basically just help people understand what it is and evolve the field of facilitation. So yeah, that's when it became clear to me, and that's when I really started to call myself a professional facilitator. Was once I decided I'm doing this on my own, regardless of whether I'm working for a company or not. I know I have the skill set, I know I have the experience, and I was able to successfully do that even though I'm a young, I'm almost 28. I'm a young professional, and I was able to successfully be a freelance facilitator. Successfully. I'll talk about that more in the freelance video. But I was, and what it showed to me is that facilitation is a viable career that you can do. It's a difficult career to enter because there's not a lot of infrastructure to support facilitators and because it's not well known, but it is an exciting profession to pursue because it's so new and because we're really at this kind of precipice of all of the ways that the profession can change the world. So that's my story, and I am excited to keep sharing my experiences with facilitation. And this channel has kind of been, I started this channel a few months ago or at the beginning of last year or something, and I haven't quite known what videos should I create, what should this channel really be about, and I'm gonna be figuring that out as I go, right? But what feels exciting to share now is just my personal experiences with facilitation, so I can hopefully help you get a sense of whether you want to continue to explore it. Okay, thanks so much and have a great day.